when you create some sort of business, your goal is to solve a certain problem.
But how do I get other people to believe my solution is good?
And how do I know if my solution is good? Here is the secret. Learn to assume. So let's talk about a store named Starbucks. Did you know that Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, actually revolutionized the coffee drinking culture in America? And it's all because he used the power of assumption. Previously, before Starbucks became what we know it as today, drinking coffee in America was just like, oh, let me get a quick cup of coffee, you just get it and you go. Get it and you go. But then Howard Schultz, he went to Italy and he saw that the coffee drinking culture in Italy was so different than America. In Italy, people actually knew your name. They actually had a relationship with you. People actually sat down in the coffee shops. What? So then Howard went to the original Starbucks owners and was like, so I have this idea that I think would revolutionize coffee drinking in America. Wanna join? And they was like, no. But our man, Mr. Schultz, really believed in his assumption and went on to try to create his own coffee company. This coffee company actually knew people's names and people could actually sit there. There was like an experience when drinking coffee. It wasn't just like a thing to buy and you just do what you need to do, go about your day. It was like, oh, you know my name. Oh, let me sit here. We're gonna have a conversation. Like, it's like a whole ambiance. Hold on. And then, y'all, a few years later, the original Starbucks went bankrupt. And then Howard was like, don't mind if I do, and bought the company. And then mixed his company with the name and branding of Starbucks together to create what we have today. See, the moral of the story is that Howard had an assumption. His assumption was that I think people actually would really like coffee to be more of an experience rather than just something that you just grab and go. But besides just having this as an idea, he saw it tried and tested in Italy. All over Italy, people were just enjoying their coffee like that, and he experienced it himself and realized this is nice. This is real nice.
Ooh, this is nice.
Because one key thing about assuming is that it has to be evidence-based. We're not just pulling things out of the air, okay? We don't do that here. Okay, Naomi, like he had a good idea and it worked out, but like what about me? How do I know that my assumption is true? After you get to the problem's root, wanna know if your assumptions are true? Do user interviews. User interviews. User interviews are a type of UX research model. And hold on, I know these are a lot of U's. So UX is a fancy term for user experience. So it's basically you making sure that the user is having the best time, the easiest time, the most comfortable time of their existence using your product or business. And user interviews is basically you testing your hypothesis, testing your assumption in small batches before you like release your product or open your business, just so that you know for sure that you're really making the best possible move that you can make, that your product or service is something that's actually filling the gap that you want to fill. For example, if you're about to release a film, maybe you show it to an audience before you open it up to the whole world to see, or before you send it to festivals and things like that. But let's be clear, okay? Do not just show it to your friends and family because they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, yes, we love you, you did great all the time. Okay, we need objective feedback. We just don't need people kissing our booty. And within that feedback, people might actually give you the solutions that you couldn't figure out yourself, which, thank you very much. Give me the answers, thank you. But how do we actually do it? 1, set a goal. 2, make sure the people are comfortable, all right? Make sure they're feeling good. And last but not least, don't ask bad questions. Don't ask yes or no questions because those aren't gonna give you the specific feedback that you actually crave, right? That will actually help you. Don't ask leading questions because they're literally leading the person to just answer the way that you want them to. And we want honest, objective feedback. The questions that we want to make sure are answered at the end of our user interviews are, is my design easy to use? Why did you find it easier? Why did you find it difficult? Do you think you would use it again? But user interviews are really so important because they give you the evidence that you need to ground your assumptions, and they allow you to know what your customers really need and like. So, y'all, go out there and back up those assumptions.